Did once a little trip around Italy and popped into Verona, drove from Pesaro to Venice, and then in Venice stayed for 3 days, or for 4 days. Couldn't get out of this awesome feeling of beauty, and of course, damn strikes, because I suddenly walk out somehow of the hotel, about to go to Verona, and it turns out there's no way you can fly to Verona. Go to Verona. Because here are these guys, which are on Treno, and who manage trains and all infrastructure. They're on strike again. I didn't understand it at first and poked at the machines. And there was such a big sign on the machines. And there was a lot written in Italian. In English. I do not look at the signs. I immediately try to give money away. One day there was a strike. Second day there was a strike. And only on the third day, when it started raining in Verona, I managed to get to Verona. Imagine how infuriating it is on a journey. And breaks plans. Well, although I'm basically very satisfied, because quite a lot of time was on Venice. And over there in my background it is fixed on a huge sheet of paper. Layout of Verona in that place. Where is the awesome amphitheater Verona Arena located there? If here you go to the square, then you can go there to Juliet. And that I certainly did. Despite the rain, then more videos will come out. And here is a partially painted view from above Verona Arena. But you still need to refine and partially that elements of the structural structure of the Verona Arena. More historical. There is quite a lot of text in Italian too. The painting is still in work. Damn, what is my work slowly progressing to? Well, so I have paintings. Not so what? Not like ordinary, normal artists all over the world. They are in terms of project approach, from the point of view of architects and from a bird's eye view. If you don't know how much they cost, guess in the comments or look them up in my gallery. All links in the video description and in the profile cap. Whether they are expensive, don't understand like. My name is Eduard Kichigin. Stopping by somehow in Florence, and there I meet difficulties. And you know what difficulties? Rather lovely. Then some difficult ones. Stayed first at one hotel next to this beautiful cathedral, Santa Maria del Fiore, and the hotel was somewhere right here. Well, that is, you come out here, and right in front of you is Florence. It was just something incredible. You wake up, you go outside, and there though winter, but it was already warm enough. You took a little coffee with you and you go out to Fumarize and walk out in front of you. Santa Maria del Fiore. How is it? How can it be? How can it be? It's like it changes the level of norm. And I don't want that anymore. What I usually have. I want such a vibe. I know. What a strange thing I came up with. That you need to somehow accustom yourself to this. How to normal level. I didn't have that before. That is, I essentially did not care. What is how to live? What to dress in? What if I realized that you need to somehow force yourself to act differently? Not that act about other steps. The right steps are act, live and be a little bit different. Not like I've done it before. I could not understand this. That is it from my point of view. Was totally stupid at all. Like stupidly, why do you think Florence seemed to change a little? As if I got into that luxury, in which, for some reason, I was not present before this. Luxury, you know, such. Not this modern miserable. It generally drove me hurt. I'm not interested at all. Here's some noble, high-level buzz. These hotels, which he visited. Not that these are hotels. It's like those walls. Who are soaked in all this? I do not know how to explain it. I had nothing like this in my picture of the world before. I tried to spend these days on something. To soak it up. To, well, try about one. Think here in this space. Here in this state. About something else. Make some decisions. And these decisions they were at all. Well, as if they were different. That is, what couldn't I come up with? Like if I'm sitting in my studio in Petersburg, and that's some key difference. Manage to think a little within the world. It's so much easier to think within the world when you're just present in that context, which I attended. Then there. And so when I took a ticket to Rome, my hotel in Rome was next to the Vatican, 'cause I feverishly clung to every opportunity. Think a little bit. That level, which comes to me then. For someone journey, this lay in a pose there, starfish on the beach. For me, journey, way to think different, not as I thought before. Find other ways, other patterns. My paintings, they are for people who use their brain intensively, not emotional, rather sphere. Namely, your brain and your brain as that. What makes our civilization? As manipulation. But it was impossible to build this unless you're a top-tier manipulator in order to make such architectural structures. Just talent is not enough. Well, absolutely not enough talent. And who tried to control large structures of people? Big projects. Those understand that they're working, not talent. In many ways, their work's a huge amount. Different kinds of manipulation. This is a super difficult story. And essentially, my picture and view of the city is not like other artists. He is, to some extent, reflects this here approach of thinking. To big long, monstrous scale of manipulation. If you are close to this approach of thinking, then you can purchase my paintings. I think only my paintings can position you. The way I just told you, it's weird. It's pretty expensive, but it's worth it. Gallery of paintings in the description of the video and in the profile cap. My name is Eduard Kichigin. Coming somehow to my favorite Rome. And incredibly late for check-in at the hotel. I drove to Rome, about from Florence. If I do not confuse anything. Coming. And I have 40 minutes for that. To get from Termini station to my hotel, near the Vatican. I'm such a think. What is 40 minutes? I have the same monocycle. I didn't imagine. What is Roman traffic? This is some crazy. As if to multiply Moscow. Oh, I do not know what. Adding to Moscow. These are the slopes. Big declines and confuse everything. Confuse. And how then I Google Maps lay the route. And part of the time I rode so wide. Huge, wide streets, where there is practically no one. A part I tried to survive, looping between cars, between scooters, on which Italians race just, with some scary speed. Between motorino, and between pedestrians scurrying there and here. That was just some brain takeaway. I really was scared. Hit some streets, which are full. Well, like pedestrian streets. They were just hammered to capacity. Some videos I was posting. What was winter? That's it. That's my ride. And here the navigator shows me that essentially can be reached in 25 minutes. Well, like started this trip without worrying much. But you understand, I did not have time. That is, well, I met for about 50 minutes. I arrived after that, as already ceased to be possible. Me support from, those in the hotel. And to get the key to my apartment. It was also just not easy. Quest is just not an easy quest. And what was I doing back then? Well, in short, okay. I maybe post later. This is interesting. But I don't really want to post. Well, maybe I will post. My hotel turned out to be very pretty. And entrances there like I love. You come in such an elevator. You open the door. You open small doors inside. You go there, closing these doors. No, first you close the outside door. And then you close the little doors. Only then you can move. This is very nice. If you constantly use. Of course. Asked a little. But in tourist mode, it's very cute. Arrived, settled. Gear through and think. I have the same monocycle. I will go. Well, first, naturally, to St. Peter's Square. I have the same monocycle. I will go to the Colosseum. And broke into the center of historic Rome. Came here, sat here, filmed. Again drank coffee and had a great time. Thought a little more. Maybe me coming home by subway. Well, there is a metro station near the Colosseum. And there's a metro station near the Vatican too. Well, actually, why do I need this subway? If I have a monocycle and in front of me, night, Rome. And I is Udopal shorter on this night, Rome. Because traffic is already practically over. All well. They go to bed early. And I drive through the night streets on my monohill. Wild. Comfortable. Wild. Incredible. Just cool. Here's a fixation of this Rome awesome on small, big pictures from that point of view, with which artists do not look at him. Look, designers and architects, how do those people comprehend the world scale, thinking and strength, who allows you to do such things? Common art, no matter how sophisticated it is, it shows the world in such a more decorative way of thinking. She's more aimed at emotions. In detail, my own paintings are such an attempt to reflect the monstrous power of the manipulation system, which allowed these buildings and structures come into the world and remain in this world, the most important, the best for millennia. I draw pictures from this point of view, and have my painting in your gallery. It's implicit to say these are the same things. Who say? And I? That's not an artist. Look, this is the look of those who manipulates large resources, manipulates large groups of people, manages public opinion, and can achieve such results. Who achieved these guys, who built these things, who survived millennia after that. That's about it. My paintings. Listen, I talk about it and understand. Urgently need to raise prices. I will do it soon. But until promoted, see the picture in the video description and in the profile cap. Somehow stopped by Venice, my favorite beautiful, and tried to make such drawings, which I then happily transfer to merch. That's for example, I have mugs, and one more mug option will come out soon. And thermomugs were already coming out. Well, which ones with Duomo Milano? But here are mugs just with Venice layout. This one in my opinion is the same layout, which I have here in the picture. That is, I draw such big paintings. They are this format of merch, and I needed new info, new ideas and impressions. I came to Italy and went on a big art art tour, in which I visit those cities, which I draw, which I have and drawn already a huge number. In fact, there is a small one in Italy, but pretty, very me dear church, Santa Maria Formosa. And then I had a big epic file, well, shorter, when I was leaving Pesaro, family Italian, where I live and work. They advised me to go to the museum, near this church, where you can see the work of teachers, those architects, from which I learn. And here I had some collapse. I still don't get it. What was it with me? Why is this how it happened? I shorter arrived there. I found this museum, where it was all supposed to show up. I walked up to him, take coffee a little stand fumarayu and I think I will go there now and I will understand something. What I didn't realize before. Okay, and then half an hour passed, during which I just could go to this museum. I do not know what was stopping me. I do not understand what happened. It would seem this is an amazing chance. The fact that just come and this logic was explained to you 100 times on examples. What did the teachers of those architects do? From which I myself learn, and I cannot go in. Dick knows I don't understand at all. What happened there? I was shorter, sat like this in front of this museum, sat and blunted one by one shorter than a scooter, and drank his fucking coffee, and couldn't go in. Understand? Could not. I waited so time. When it was too late to come in, that is when they closed. I felt some relief. That everything I can. I may not know this. I may not know this. And that's on having social permission for that. The fact that this fucking gallery is now closed. It's damn that you needed to turn off the brain and go in and see it all. I don't go to Venice every day. When will I still see it? Maybe this exhibition will no longer be there. Shared such a fail. Shorter damn. I do not know what to do with it. Well, these are my problems. And about this whole big architectural story. Italian. That's about it. These are my big paintings, on which the texts are Italian, and not typical of artists. This is comprehension of territory, large territories, whole area, and the church itself doesn't take up much space in this drawing. It's a top view. How architects look at it. How is? I count the smartest people on the planet, birds and someone else. Guess for yourself. Who else? Not for every this fad. I think only for those who can think big scale. Different people have different tasks. There are people who have the task of thinking big. Here I think that my paintings, for example, will respond to them. They make sense in such positioning. Think, not in the cut there. Decorative design, or something else. Think those manipulations. Monstrous global manipulations. What ancient architects thought. Otherwise they could not have created these. Incredible stuff. It's like a different language. Another lingua. That's a whole different logic. And here are traces of this logic in my paintings. This is what I promote to the world. Price tags on my paintings are certainly not small. How much do they cost? To understand how much, can go to my gallery. In the description, in the profile cap, and in the description of the video. And do you like Italy? How I love her. My name is Eduard Kichigin. Somehow arrived to my favorite Venice and got on strike there. And in the end, it turned out that the whole route went on the beard, and I had to stay there for 3 days, even though I honestly only counted on one. At my painting of Venice on the background. Top view. It actually was super cool. Because 3 days in Venice is still 3 days in Venice. I love Italy. And the first thing I did was unload from Santa Lucia station. I certainly went to the center. Venice is all a pedestrian city. So I had to go a lot. I was with my motorcycle. Riding there is almost impossible. Carabiners even came up to me when I was here in San Marco Square, show on my monohill and say you shouldn't drive here. I do look decent, law-abiding man, and say, no, of course I will not drive here. It's just always with me. It was spring and the weather was right not super good. Well, summer in the afternoon is practically summer. Almost autumn. Well, shorter in the afternoon. Super warm. But sometimes it's really cold. Northern Venice is St. Petersburg. They are by weather conditions often very cool echo. So when I sit in Petersburg, I don't feel that I am far from Venice. And left the first time came from this side. Is that San Marco Cathedral? On top is Doge Palace. Top view over their waterfront. I came from here, monumentally. Amazed at how cool and awesome everything is. Venice, everything as I love everything. How I love, and I have some checklists, which I went to perform. And first checklist, it needed to go to the embankment. Over there, I had a thermo mug. That's on which Duomo Milano is painted. And from I needed to drink coffee and fumarize a little, because I love it. Sat on the steps, listened to the waves splash. Was looking at gondolas. Was looking at tourists. Was looking at architecture. My God. This is such an incredible buzz. I shot a lot of videos. You can watch them if you rewind to a little early. Well, practically, I spent the
So
whole
you can
winter
look
in
there
Italy.
during winter.
What did I film and post? Did a lot of sketches, filmed a lot of videos, and then here's this
Partly
stuff.
it goes into my paintings,
Which, as you
totally
can see,
not small and which are needed probably.
not everyone,
but
most likely more or less such special people who like to comprehend situations not from the point of view of how everyone sees them, but from the point of view how big structures make sense of big people, able to work with a lot of information. It's like architects, for example. They look at the situation as seen from above. That's essentially a master plan. Is this an architect worldview or a bird worldview? I will not climb even more. Even higher is this view of the world. And this is the uniqueness of my paintings. Because practically no one draws like that. So designs, but so doesn't draw. Because Nafig, who needs it? Because people don't think on that scale. They think with emotions. There are all sorts of impressions, nostalgia and dreams. And here are my paintings. Who likes to think with brains and make sense of big situations, not small big. How could those people build these great architectural structures? My paintings cost money, and you may be surprised when you see the price tag on them. You can see gallery of my paintings in the description of the video and in the profile cap. Such a self-presentation of myself through art. It's worth it. This is Venice, great and beautiful. My name is Eduard Kichigin.